Join us at the Trinity Church as we explore the story of Ruth, a historical narrative of love and loyalty, and see how the lives of these ancient Middle Eastern men and women point beyond themselves to the love and loyalty of the eternal God of the universe, expressed through the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ.
So, have you ever seen one of those war films where someone gets shot and they're dying and then they start crying out for their mum? Mama. Well, I remember when I was a little kid and my mum would take me to the supermarket and I would be distracted by every little thing, anything that looked like it was for children. I would be grabbing it and messing around, and I would end up going down this aisle and the next one and trying to find what treasures I could find. And then I would find that I was lost. And I didn't know where my mum was. I was on my own, and I would be looking around and I couldn't find her. And I would get scared and I would start crying out, Mom, Mom, where are you? When we're scared, we want someone to take care of us. When we're struggling, when we're suffering in life, we want someone who will take care of us. There can be loads of things that can cause us to feel that way. When you're a little kid, you need someone to take care of you. You need someone who's going to feed you and wipe your bum. Then, when you're really old, you need someone to take care of you, and you might need someone to feed you and wipe your bum. When we're feeling ill and we're in bed, we want someone there to take care of us. It's something that we all need in life. The title of today's message is Take Care. Over a decade ago, a couple of artists who I don't recommend necessarily, but they're famous, Drake and Rihanna, had a song called Take Care. And in the song, Rihanna sings, I know you've been hurt by someone else. I can tell by the way you carry yourself. If you let me, here's what I'll do. I'll take care of you. Now, the video for this song has almost 500 million views on YouTube because it's relatable, right? We've all been hurt by someone. We all long to have someone take care of us. But Rihanna's lying because she's not going to take care of you. She can't. But we all do need someone to take care of us. And that's something that we're going to be looking at in today's text. So if you will, please turn with me in your Bibles to the book of Ruth in the Old Testament. You'll find it just after the book of Judges. And what we're going to be looking at today is an overview. So in a sense, we're going to be kind of speeding through. I'm going to be paraphrasing some of the Bible verses rather than reading them word for word. But obviously, you've got your Bibles there yourself. And as we go over the next few weeks, we're going to be going through chapter by chapter and verse by verse. And so you'll be able to get a more in-depth look over the weeks. Starting in verse 1, it says, in the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a man of Bethlehem in Judah went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. So, when did these events take place? Anyone? In the days of the judges. It tells us in verse 1. In the days when the judges ruled, or the judges judged. The judges were there for what reason? To take care of the people of Israel. But the judges weren't able to take care of the people the way that they ought to, the way that they needed. And the people didn't really appreciate the care that they were being given either. So Israel went round in a cycle of rebellion and restoration, self-destructively doing what they saw as right in their own eyes, and then needing God to redeem them and take care of them again. So things weren't really going well in Israel in the time of the judges. But what else was going on in the land at this time? A famine. Well done. So even though the promised land was the place where God takes care of his people, some of them felt like, oh, God's not really taking care of us properly because there's a famine at the moment. And so what did they do? They did what was right in their own eyes and left the place that God had set up for them. They left and they went to where? Moab. So you see here on the map, this is Bethlehem, and this is probably a route they would have likely taken to this land of Moab. Verse 2 says, the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife, Naomi. And the names of his two sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem in Judah. They went into the country of Moab and remained there. So this is the squad that we're working with. This is the family. Got 4 members. Elimelech, he's the dad. His name means, my God is king. So if your God is king, then you should be able to trust that he's going to take care of you. But despite his name, he wasn't really trusting that God would take care of him at this time. Naomi, her name means my delight or pleasant. It's a pretty good name for a wife, right? His sons, however, were called Mahlon and Chilion, meaning sick and wasting away. Probably not what I would call my sons, but, each to their own. The sons' names are maybe a hint that things aren't necessarily going to work out that well for them. Ephrathites from Ephrathah, another name for Bethlehem. Ephrathah means fruitfulness, a place of fruitfulness. Anyone know what Bethlehem means? House of bread. So a place of fruitfulness and a house of bread. But what's going on there? A famine. It's ironic. So they're like, oh, this place, not got any food. It's not living up to its name. And so they leave and they go to Moab. Oh, that's much better. No, it's not. Moab is a place built on immorality, corruption, and is a place of idol worshippers. It's not the place that God has promised to take care of his people within. Imagine that you're having some work done on your house and it's all a mess. It's maybe even a bit dangerous. You've got tools lying around, but you need to do some gardening. And so you tell your kids, right, stay in your bedroom where it's safe. I'm going to go and do some gardening. Make sure you stay there. I'll come back in and check on you in a bit. Don't worry. Stay up there in your room. And you're doing your gardening, and then you come back in, and your kids are like poking around in the kitchen. And you're like, what are you doing? I told you to stay in your bedroom where it's safe. And they're like, oh, but I was starving. I was so hungry. I had to get something to eat. And you're like, no, I wasn't going to let you starve. I was just doing some gardening. I told you to stay where it's safe. What are you doing? What should Elimelech have done during the famine? What's that? Get someone else to look after him. Yeah, could have done that. Ask. He could have cried out to God. God, I'm starving. You've told me to be here. I don't want to go somewhere else. I don't want to go to this land of idol worshippers, but I don't know what to do because I'm hungry. I need to look after my family. I need to take care of them. Please, will you help me? Please, will you take care of us? But instead, what did he decide to do? He decided to take matters into his own hands. I would advise that we don't follow Elimelech's example, but instead we stay where God has told us to be. Stay within the church. Stay in your Bible. Stay in prayer. Stay in Christian community. When things are going wrong, don't go off on your own and try and come up with your own solution. Stay where God has told you to be. Trust in him. But Elimelech didn't. And in verse 3 it says, Elimelech, the husband of Naomi, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. So now our squad is down to 3. The person meant to be taking care of the family has died. He's gone. For Naomi, she can't really take care of her sons. They're men at this point. They need a father figure. She doesn't know what to do. She's in an unfamiliar place now. For the sons, now they're kind of responsible for taking care of the mum. But they might feel like they're meant to be taken care of. Have you ever seen it or experienced it? Where there's a child, maybe his dad's not around, and then his mum falls sick. And now he has to act like a parent for his parent. He's looking after his mum while she's sick and struggling. And he's like, why am I having to do this? I need someone to take care of me. How am I supposed to be taking care of my mum? Things are backwards here. You can imagine the bitterness that could come. Even for the mum, she could be thinking, God, why have you allowed this to happen? Now look, my son's having to take care of me. Why are we even here in the first place? In verse 4 it says that the sons took Moabite wives, one called Orpah, one called Ruth, and they lived there for 10 years. So now we've increased the squad. Got an extra 2. Now they weren't forbidden from taking Moabite wives. People were forbidden from taking Canaanite wives, but not Moabite wives. But it was definitely discouraged because these were idol worshippers. And so if you join yourself with one, you could very easily end up being led astray to the worship of false gods. And what should have been a short trip maybe to go and get some food, now you're in a foreign, ungodly land for 10 years. And then what happens? Both Mahlon and Chilion die, so that the woman was left without her 2 sons and her husband. First, she lost her husband, and now she's lost her 2 sons. Who knows the name of this character? King Theoden. It's from The Lord of the Rings, The 2 Towers. Who knows what he says in this scene? Yeah, no parent should have to bury their child. But it's even worse for Naomi as the mother of the children. Now, I don't mean this in any sort of misogynistic way, but it's more difficult for a woman, especially in this sort of culture. It was a brutal world. Most of the work available was hard labor. And there were predators on the prowl looking for women to take advantage of. Without the same protections that we have these days. It was a dangerous world. And so now all three women have no one to take care of them. They've all lost their husbands, and Naomi has lost her sons. You can imagine even more fear and bitterness building up in Naomi's heart. And she's not just thinking of herself and the other women either. She was thinking of the legacy of her husband Elimelech and even the legacy of her sons. This was important to people in the Jewish culture. They wanted to see their name carried on, their memory, their legacy continued. And she valued that. She respected her husband. But now there was no heir because both of her sons were dead. Who's going to take care of them? Who's going to take care of that legacy? Then verse 6 tells us she arose with her daughters-in-law to return from the country of Moab, because she'd heard in the fields of Moab that Yahweh had visited his people and given them food. So she headed back there. This is wise. This is a wise decision to make. If your life is falling apart, it's wise to consider, have I gone astray from where God wanted me to be? Have I stopped attending church? Have I stopped reading my Bible? Have I stopped praying? Have I stopped dwelling in the place that God tells me to be? And if so, turn around and go back to where you belong. I remember when I was a kid, me and my friends, our parents had taken us to Bramall, and one of my mum's friends lived there, and we were hanging out, my mum and her friends, and me and my friends, and we decided we'd run away. And we decided we didn't need anyone to take care of us anymore. We were going to take care of ourselves. And we ran across the fields and went and hid in some bushes, and we decided we're going to eat leaves and flowers, and that's how we're going to survive. And I don't know how long we were there for, an hour, maybe only half an hour, maybe even less than that. But very quickly, we decided, we're not very good at this taking care of ourselves business. Eating flowers, it doesn't really taste that nice. We want to be taken care of. And we ran back to our parents, and our parents were sort of like, oh, right, did you go somewhere? We didn't even notice. But we were so relieved to be back in the care of our parents. If you've gone astray, come back. God promised to provide for Israel, and so Naomi wants to head back there. She knows that God is taking care of his people. He is providing for them. But she said to her two daughters-in-law, you go back to your families. You stay in Moab. I'm going to go, but you go back to your own mothers. And she put the blessing of Yahweh upon them and kissed them. And they were weeping. Well, she was saying this because she wanted them to be taken care of. And she wasn't convinced that she could do the job. She didn't think she was capable. And so she thought, no, go back to your own homes. And she said that she was sending them with the blessing of Yahweh. But I think her heart was divided. They say to her, no, we'll return with you and your people. But Naomi said, no, don't come with me. Don't come with me. You're not going to have any husbands. I don't have any other sons. And even if I got a husband now and had more sons, what are you going to do? You're going to wait until they grow up and then have them as your husbands? It's going to take too long. You're not going to wait around for that. Why would you be with me? It's bitter. It's bitter being with me. God's done something bitter to me. Don't suffer because of me. And they were weeping. And then Orpah, she kissed her mother-in-law and she left. But Ruth clung to her. And Naomi said, look, your sister's gone. She's gone back to her gods. She's gone back to her people. Go with her. So Orpah's left now, and it's just Naomi and Ruth. And Ruth's got a decision to make. How crazy is it? Naomi, she's a Jew. She believes in Yahweh, the God of the universe, the true God, the real God. But she's saying to her daughters-in-law, go back to your false gods. Why would she say that? She's clearly bitter. She's not trusting in Yahweh. Even though she's saying, oh yeah, the blessings of Yahweh be upon, but she's not really trusting him. Otherwise, she would have said, come with me. Come with me back to our land. I've been foolish. Come in here. But come back. Yahweh will look after us. He'll take care of us. He'll provide for us. But she was like, no, this is all too much. You go back to your families. She's growing more bitter towards God. But Ruth stayed. And Ruth said, do not urge me to leave you or to return from following you. For where you go, I will go. And where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May Yahweh do to me, and more also, if anything but death parts me from you. And when Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more. In a time where Naomi is suffering, she's lost her husband, she's lost her kids. Grief has made her become bitter. She's doubting her God. But in this time, Yahweh gives faith to Ruth so that Ruth can help to take care of Naomi. Unlikely Ruth, this Moabite girl, God has given faith to. So she can take care of Naomi in her time of need. We see the love and loyalty of Ruth. And in that is the love and loyalty of God. Saying, you're one of my people. You're struggling, but I'm going to put someone there who will bring you back to where you need to be. Then the two of them went back to Bethlehem. And when they came to Bethlehem, there was a stir. People were saying, what, is this Naomi? I remember her. She left about 10 years ago. Is this her back? And Naomi's like, no. I'm not Naomi. I'm not my delight. I'm not pleasant. I'm Mara. I'm bitter. Because God, even though I went away full, he's brought me back empty. She's angry at God. She says, the Almighty has brought calamity upon me. She feels like she's not been taken care of. When bad things happen, it's easy to get bitter and start blaming God for your circumstances. She says that he brought calamity upon her. But listen, if you and your family go camping in some dangerous woods and you're warned, don't go there. It's really dangerous, those woods. There's all kinds of wild animals, all kinds of treacherous terrain. But you're like, no, we're going to go camping there. We're going to set up a tent. We think it'll be good. And then you get attacked by a bear. And you go, God, why have you brought this calamity upon me? That's not really fair, is it? Why have you brought the calamity upon yourself? You could have stayed in your house where it was safe. Ultimately, either way, God allowed it. He allowed the calamity to happen, yeah. He could have stopped it. But it's not the end of the story. and he is going to take care of her. Then chapter 2 starts, and it says that Naomi had a relative of her husband's, a worthy man of the clan of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. Why do you think this guy is being introduced to us in the story? What do you think that Naomi and Ruth might be thinking that this man is able to do? To take care of them. He's a godly man. He's from her ex-husband's clan, the man who formerly was taking care of her. He's a Jew. He's a godly man. And Ruth says to Naomi, oh, let me go into his field. Let me collect grain there. Maybe we'll find favor in his eyes. And Naomi sends her to go. They clearly got the same idea. It's interesting that she was able to do that. She was able to go into the fields and collect grain. She's not even a Jew. And she's in Israel. And she's able to collect grain from this field, collecting the leftovers. So you've got the farmers who were ploughing the fields. They've got their reapers who were there, gathering the grain for them. But someone who's a foreigner is allowed to come in and pick up the scraps so they can have something to eat. Shows that God is taking care not only of his covenant people, but he's taking care of whoever wants to be taken care of. Whoever is willing to admit that they need someone to take care of them. And this was a law in Deuteronomy that farmers had to allow this. So she set out, she was collecting grain in the fields. She came to the part of the field that belonged to this Boaz. And Boaz comes in from Bethlehem. And he said to the reapers, Yahweh be with you. And they answered, Yahweh bless you. He's clearly a godly man. His focus is on Yahweh. He arrives at work and the first thing he says, Yahweh be with you, to his workers. And they say it back. He owns his own fields. He's able to provide. He's able to protect, to take care of his people. It's a good man to have on your side. Then Boaz started asking about Ruth, this Moabite woman. What's she doing here? They told her the story. She's come along. She wanted to gather, so we've allowed her to. She's been working hard. And so he says to her, listen, my daughter, don't go to any other fields. Stay in mine. Stay with the young women who are working here. I'll make sure none of the men are going to mistreat you. When you're thirsty, you'll have something to drink. What's he doing here? Taking care of her. Instantly, he meets Ruth and he wants to take care of her. God has taken care of Boaz, so he wants to take care of others. Now, especially to the men of the church, or just anyone here who's a Christian, or anyone in general, when God gives you things, part of the reason why is so you can use those things to help take care of others. Whether that's your physical strength, whether that's your money, whether that's your intelligence, part of why God has given you these things is to enable you to take care of others. When you go to get your shopping, why not grab something for the homeless beggar outside the shop? Take care of him. You've been given money, not just for yourself, but to take care of others. Even as an artist, even someone blessed with skills or talents, you've got those things not to show off with, but to use those things to take care of others, to take care of the world around you. It's a book that I would recommend, Culture Care by Makoto Fujimura. And he talks about this idea of caring for the culture around us, using our art and the things that we create to take care of the culture, to bless the world around us, to put beauty out into the world. In a world where people aren't so much concerned about culture care, but culture wars. People so often talk about culture wars, and they think that they have to be in conflict with other people and destroy other people and tear them down. He suggests maybe a Christian way of looking at things is, how do we care for the culture around us? Instead of creating division by polarizing individuals, why not create beauty by pulverizing different minerals to create a beautiful painting? I'm looking forward to the second edition of this book that's coming out in July. I'm not getting paid to advertise it, but I highly recommend it. So I'm going to be grabbing that myself. What we're given from God, part of the reason why we're given it, is to use it to take care of others. And this is what Boaz was doing. He was taking care of Ruth, and she falls on the ground, and she's saying, why? Why are you helping me? Why are you even noticing me? I'm a foreigner. Why do you care about me? He doesn't care where she's from. He's a godly man. He wants to bless people. Whatever reason you feel like you don't fit in, whatever reason you feel like a foreigner, don't think that God doesn't want to take care of you. Because he does. Boaz answered her. He said, all that you've done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband has been fully told to me. He's had it explained to him how she left her land and she's come to Israel. And he lets her know that she's being rewarded by God, by Yahweh, the God of Israel, not some random God, some false God. He's going to take her under his wings so she can have refuge. She's going to be taken care of by God. He's kind of saying, don't thank me, thank God. That's why you're being taken care of, because of God. Don't think that he hasn't seen your love and loyalty that you've shown. He has, and he is the God of love and loyalty, and he wants to take care of you. And she's amazed by this. She's comforted. Don't we all want to be comforted? Then at mealtime, he's giving her roasted grain and wine and taking care of her even more. Giving her bundles of stuff to take away. She's gleaning in the fields, collecting more and more. She eats more than she even can. She's belly's full. Can't eat a single another bite. And he's still giving her more so she can take it home with her to Naomi. And he sends her with a blessing, a heartfelt blessing of Yahweh. And it's received in that way. She goes back to Naomi and she explains what Boaz has done. And Naomi blesses Yahweh. Naomi receives this blessing and she says, blessed, may he be blessed by Yahweh. May Boaz be blessed by Yahweh, whose kindness has not forsaken the living or the dead. She's like, Yahweh's not forgotten us. She'd been feeling that way. She'd been feeling bitter, but she's like, wait a minute, what's this Boaz guy doing? And she says, he's not forsaken the living or the dead. Why did she say that? Well, it's because of this thing that she says next. The man is a close relative of ours, one of our redeemers. She's saying this guy is from my husband's clan. He's connected to us. He's one of our redeemers. Not only is he someone who can look after us, but he can look after the legacy of the dead. A redeemer, in this context, sometimes referred to as a kinsman redeemer, is a family member who steps in for someone who died and takes responsibility for their legacy, takes care of their family, their property, and ultimately agrees to continue their name and their lineage for them. When they have children, instead of the children taking their name, their children will take the name of the dead person and continue their lineage. And Naomi seeing this guy, and she's thinking, wow, I think Yahweh is providing a way that not only we can be taken care of, but even my husband's legacy can be taken care of too. And we'll look more at that in the coming weeks in Deuteronomy. It goes on, and basically she says it's good to stay with this guy. He's going to protect you. Stay in his fields. And then she comes up with this other idea. Why not go and visit him personally? Where he's sleeping. Wash yourself first, anoint yourself, put on your cloak, and go down to the threshing floor where they deal with all the grain and prepare it. Make yourself known to him until he's finished eating and drinking. But when he lies down, observe the place where he lies. Go uncover his feet and lie down, and he will tell you what to do. And she replied, all that you say I will do. Naomi's basically setting up this way that she can get to know this guy on an intimate level so that he will notice her. Being washed, anointed, changing her clothing can be seen as representing the fact that she's no longer mourning. She had a husband before and he's dead now. And she's representing, I'm no longer mourning, I'm ready to move on now. I'm available. Maybe I can find a new husband. So she does what her mother's recommended. She goes down there and he ends up asking who she is, finding out more about her. And she says, I am Ruth, your servant. Spread your wings over your servant, for you are a redeemer. And he said, may you be blessed by Yahweh, my daughter. You have made this last kindness greater than the first, in that you've not gone after young men, whether poor or rich. And now do not fear, I will do for you all that you ask. He calls her a worthy woman. It's the same phrase used in Proverbs 31, the Proverbs 31 woman. She's a Moabite, she's not even a Jew, but he's saying she's this righteous woman. She's what a woman should be like. And he says, I am a redeemer, but there's another redeemer. So in the family, there's a sequence of who's supposed to be responsible. And he's saying, really, I'm not the first in line to take responsibility for you. There's another guy. But if he doesn't do it, I'll be right there. I want to do it. But we have to do things by the book. He's showing how much of a righteous guy he is. Even though he'd love to be with Ruth, he's not going to jump the queue. And the mum says to her, yeah, just wait and see how things go. It's interesting that she chose to be with Boaz rather than one of these young lads. She could have done. But she's not just caring about herself. She wants someone who's going to be capable of looking after her and Naomi and also the legacy of the family. This is a family she's been brought into. She was a Moabite. She didn't even know them originally. But she cares about her husband who passed away, his legacy, his father's legacy. She wants to see that taken care of. She returns to her mother the next day with loads of extra barley that he sent her away with, showing that he really does want to take care of them, giving them extra every time. And then Boaz wants to see the wheels in motion straight away. He's not hanging around. He goes up to the gate and he finds the other redeemer, the guy who's first in line. And he starts chatting to him and he explains, oh, And he gets a little council around so other people can make sure everything's legit. He explains to the guy, he says, look, you can redeem this land, right? This land that's, used to belong to Elimelech and all this, you can redeem it. It belongs to you, you're first in line. And the guy's like, oh yeah, cool, I'll do that. I'll have that land. Yeah, sounds like a good deal. He's like, but if you do, you have to get with this Ruth. She's a Moabite. And he's like, oh, I'm not sure about that. And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't get with her either if I were you. That's my extreme paraphrase. And the guy's like, yeah, to be fair, I've got my own legacy. I've got my own legacy, an inheritance that I want to pass on to my children, my name. I don't want to have to deal with this other family and sort out their stuff. I want to continue my family name. So yeah, if you want to, go ahead, mate. Now, obviously, that's what they wanted. That's what Ruth and Naomi and Boaz all wanted. But you could still feel a way about that as Ruth. You could feel like, oh, what? This guy don't want me. What's he trying to say? And it might sound ridiculous, but I know what that's like. In life, we can go looking for people to take care of us, even when God has provided a way for us to be taken care of. We can decide, oh no, but I want this person to take care of me. Or I want to be taken care of in this way. Growing up without a dad, I always longed for one. I always longed for an older man who would take care of me and show me how to be a man. And growing up, I never had that. I never had any type of father figure of any kind. And now, even as an adult, when I meet older men who I respect, who I see as a good role model, who are wise, I want them to take care of me, in a sense. I want them to be a father figure for me. And when they don't want to be, I can feel rejected. I can feel disappointed and let down, like, what, am I not good enough? Why do you hate me? Why do you not want to look after me? But it's like, well, who said they're supposed to? But I just want them to. I want to decide who should take care of me instead of leaving it for God to decide. I have to trust God to put the right people in my life who want to take care of me in whatever way I need taken care of. And I'm thankful that over the years I have had some awesome mentors. But that is something that I struggle with. So I would ask that you would pray for me. So Boaz is the right one. And he is willing to take care of the family. And so they go through this custom of taking off sandals and swapping sandals and all that. Obviously, we'll look into that more, but it's basically like doing a handshake or signing your name on the dotted line. And he says, yeah, I'm going to take care of them. The whole family, the legacy, the land, everything, I'm going to carry on the name of their family. Elimelech's name is going to continue. I won't have it that the name of the dead be cut off among his brothers as though he never existed. No, I'm going to continue his story. And he makes that commitment, and so now we've got a new member of the squad, Boaz. He's part of the family. He became the redeemer that they needed, the redeemer that God chose for them. He committed to take care of them and to take care of the legacy of their lost loved ones. Despite all of the doubts that Naomi had had, God had come through. He loved her and was loyal to her, even when she wasn't being loyal to him. God was there for Naomi. And he took care of her. And then all the people who were there, they all start praising God and praying blessings over the family, how amazing it's going to be, how the name's going to spread and the house is going to be that big and the kids are going to be strong, masculine child and all that. Boaz took Ruth. They had a child. And the women were saying to Naomi, look, praise God. You lost your child, but now you've got one. A grandson. And she took him like he was her own son. The son that she lost. The firstborn, she now has a new one who can continue her family line. God has provided. And they named him Obed. So now we've got another one in the family. The final addition to the family, Obed. The name Obed means serving. What's another way of describing serving someone? Taking care of them. God had taken care of them and provided Obed, their son. Then the author of Ruth ends with this genealogy showing that it all leads to the birth of King David, the grandson of Obed. Was David. Not only was God taking care of Naomi and Ruth, not only was he taking care of the bloodline of Elimelech, he was ultimately bringing forth King David to bring an end to the time of the judges who had failed to take care of Israel the way that they should. And he was bringing forth King David to take care of all of Israel. God shows his love and loyalty to his people by providing the Redeemer that they need. We all need someone to take care of us. And God provides that someone. We used to be taken care of back in the Garden of Eden. God took care of us perfectly, but we sinned against God, which spoiled the relationship that we have with God. But God promised back in the Garden of Eden that he would send a Redeemer to put things right again one day. But because of our sin, we got kicked out of the garden, and we've been longing ever since to have someone to take care of us again. Abraham and Moses sought to enter God's promised land so they could be taken care of by God. But once Israel was in the land, they repeatedly rejected God's care and did what was right in their own eyes, even when God sent judges to take care of them. So, through the bloodline of Ruth's son, Obed, came David, the one who would take care of Israel, the first king of Israel. God sent him to take care of the Jewish people. But we all know, or I'm sure most of us, that David was an extremely flawed man, a fallible man, like all the kings who would follow him, except for one. All of the kings repeatedly failed to take care of the people the way they needed. Maybe some of them did a better job than the judges. I think some of them did a way worse job than some of the judges. But ultimately, even a king, even a human king, couldn't take care of Israel the way Israel needed to be taken care of. And so, 2,000 years ago, as we learnt about in the book of Matthew, through the line of Obed, through the bloodline of David, comes the true king, the Redeemer that God had promised. God sent Jesus Christ, the perfect person, to come and take care of God's people. He never lets us down. He never leaves or forsakes us. Even death can't stop him. Elimelech died. Naomi's sons died, and that was the end of them. Jesus died and he rose again on the third day. He is able to take care of us. He defeated death for us. He's more powerful than any predators that we might fear in this world. He is able to take care of us. No matter what we go through in this life, no matter what struggles and suffering we go through, we know that ultimately, at the end of the story, he will take care of us. He takes responsibility for our sin on the cross so that we can be adopted as God's kids and brought into his kingdom. One day, those of us who trust in Jesus will be brought into the new promised land, the new Jerusalem, where we'll be taken care of by God for all eternity, with nothing to worry about ever again. We sang earlier, all I have needed, thy hand hath provided. He takes care of us. He provides every single thing we need, even payment for our sin. I think that God is speaking to us through this text today, saying, turn from sin and trust in Jesus. He will redeem you from sin and death. He will restore the relationship with God that you were always meant to have. If you turn to God today for the first time, or turn back to God where you've gone astray in certain areas of your life, he will take care of you. He wants to do that. Satan wants you to turn to other things that aren't going to ultimately take care of you, that are going to let you down. Your flesh wants you to try and take care of yourself, but you can't. If you try and take care of your own sin, ultimately, you're going to face the wrath of God. But Jesus is willing to take care of your sin. Jesus is the true Redeemer. Think about the prodigal son. He went astray from his father. His father would have taken care of him. But he was like, I want to take matters into my own hands. And what happened? He ended up coming crawling back, thinking, how stupid have I been? Even if I can't be my father's son anymore, I'll be his slave. Even that is better than what I found when I tried to do things my own way. And he went back to his dad, and his dad embraced him with open arms, came running and welcomed him and threw a big feast and said, oh, son, I'm going to take care of you. You're my son. I love you. Come home to God. Let him be your father and take care of you. Instead of living a life of losses and letdowns, why don't we allow the God of love and loyalty take care of us?